Alright, for today's video, I'm showing on my screen a a profit and loss statement of a single member LLC. A single member LLC is being regarded by the for federal tax purposes as a disregarded entity. This is somehow similar to a sole proprietor. So, in case like this one, what are the common tax forms that need to be prepared? We have the 1040, we have Schedule C, the profit and loss statement, and Schedule SE, 1125 for cost of goods sold, Schedule 1, 2, and 8995 for QBI. So actually, since I don't have a software, for purposes of this personal study that I would also like to share, I have created this some sort of a schedule to guide me when I plot everything in the forms, in the tax forms. From Schedule E, from computation of the self-employment taxes, and from computing the QBI. And even what would be the taxable income when I plot everything there in the tax form. So, let me show you what I did. So, in cases like this one, if you encountered a single member LLC, the first form that you have to go into is the Schedule C. This will be pretty easy if you have the tax software, but as I mentioned earlier, I'm working on figuring out where to put the number, so I have to do this manually. So here in Schedule C, as you can see in here, I have indicated the information that is needed to be inputted here, like the name of the proprietor, the type of the business, the business name, the SSN, even the business code. This one has it has a sort of guidance from the IRS if you're into consulting what code to put here in the tax form. And of course, this is just a dummy EIN of the company. So you have to indicate there, of course, the business address and the accounting method. Normally, for single proprietor, it's very common to indicate cash method of accounting. However, if you have inventory, it's encouraged to put it under accrual. And then you have to also indicate here, answer each of the questions, like did you materially participate in the operation? Of course, if it's a single member LLC, you're the sole owner, of course you participate in your own business, so you have to put there yes, otherwise you have to put no. For purposes of our discussion, let's just assume that this started in 2023, so I put here yes. Did you make any payments that would require you to form 1099? I put here no, because the owner itself participated or did is the one who run the business. If the owner hired a contractor and the payment was made during the year amounted to more than $600, then the owner needs to issue rather 1099 NEC, okay, for the contractors. However, in this regard, there was no contractors, as I mentioned earlier. Only the owner did run the business. If yes, did you or will you file required form 1099? So automatic, the answer here is no. So where did I get the numbers? The numbers, I got it from the sample data. So I have here the data. We have the consulting revenue, the interest income, and the list of all the expenses. I actually did not put here the depreciation. Of course, it's subject to safe harbor, even the meals. So for simplicity, I just put here very straightforward. There will be no deductions, but assuming you have meals here, it's only 50% deductible. If you have here, if you have equipment, you can opt for the bonus depreciation. So things like that. So in this regard, I just simplify. I have itemized here all the expenses from repairs, insurance, rent, legal fees, interest, credit card interest, and even the internet. Okay, so we have it here. We have indicated it here. So here the insurance, the mortgage, rather others, because this pertains to interest in for credit card, legal expenses, rent, repairs, and other expenses. This pertains to, was it office supplies, internet. All right. So uh, as I mentioned earlier, I created this one to really guide me on what numbers to put in the form. So, but the form is also pretty helpful because it will tell you whether what numbers to add for each of the cell. So there, so we have here the total expenses, and then for line 29 we have to uh, subtract total expenses from the gross income. So, somehow, so we got here 43,593. So there, I'm gonna show 593. All right, not include yet the interest income, because the amount here in Schedule C will automatically, if you have a tax form, it will automatically flow through 1040 here. All right, so to put under here line 8. So we also have the Schedule 1s. From Schedule 1, it says here a business income attached Schedule C. So this is Schedule C. So recap 43,593. So it will go here. Then in Schedule 1, that's why the Schedule 1 is needed as also as part of the attachment. But if you have a tax software, it will automatically populate. But for purposes of this is a manual keying of data. So I also showed how it relates one tax form to another. So there. So if you will notice for Schedule 1, it's indicated then Schedule 1, line 10. So that's why it goes here. Schedule 1, line 10. Alright? So we have here also the self-employment tax. As since this is a single member LLC, or as a also regarded as a disregarded entity, so whatever the result of the income, it will be the basis to compute for the self-employment tax, because whatever the income of the business, it will flow through, it will automatically go to the tax returns of the taxpayer. Only that 50% of the self-employment tax is an allowable deduction from the taxable income. So that's why here this is the net income, net profit from the business, and then there's a formula here that we have to follow. We have to multiply it first by 92.35, and then from the 92.35, that's the time we have to multiply it by 12.4, and then by 2.9, that's for SSM and Medicare, and 50% of this one, of the total amount computed for the self-employment tax, will flow through Schedule 1, line 15 here. So this is the Schedule 1, line 15 here. So this is only the deductible part of the self-employment tax. So when we create this Schedule 1, we have to attach, of course, a Schedule SE, self-employment. So this one, for Schedule 1, line 15, you can find it here. Schedule 1, line 26. See? Here. Line 26 rather. So as you can see, it's really, it will not be difficult if you have this tax software. However, of course, even if you have the tax software, you should also know how the numbers were computed, or that or how were the numbers were calculated. So we're done with the sales, we're done with the computation of the self-employment tax. The next thing is the QBI, the qualified business deduction, business income deduction. So we have to use form 8995. So we just put here the name and the qualified business income or loss. So where did we get this 4518 in the computation? So If you will notice in the 1040, our actual net income before the employment self-employment tax is 53,598. So how did we arrive with that? The sales less expenses, and then we have to add interest income. So that's the net income before the self-employment tax, and then we only have to reduce it by half of the self-employment tax that we had computed. So that will be the basis, the first basis for our QBI. So that's why we put it here. And then we have to get it 20% of that one. So that's the first option, or the basis for computation of QBI. That has to be compared with the second option, wherein we have to get um then we have to get the taxable income. When we say taxable income here, based on the base based on the what do you call this, based on the instruction, the taxable income should not include the computed QBI. So if you go here to 1040, how it was arrived, so we have here the adjusted the AGI and subtract it from the standard deduction, since this is a single taxpayer, and the answer to that is the second basis for the QBI. So I'll show you. So we have here the net income before self-employment tax, and then we subtract it from the share on the tax, the SE tax, and then subtract it again of the standard deduction, which is, if it's a single, 13,850. So the base for the QBI is this is what they call the taxable income here. That's why you put the numbers here, and then multiply it by 20%. So whichever is lower, that will be our additional deduction from our 1040. So that's why it gets here. All right, and then it shows there that our taxable income is 21,339. So if you have the tax software, it will auto populate how much is to be paid to to the the federal, um and it will also show here how much was the tax we paid for the self-employment tax. So this is just a pretty straightforward process for um, a single member LLC, as we had created, um, or some sort of really recreate tax form 1040 for individual, Schedule C, okay, Schedule 1, Schedule 2, and also self-employment tax, and also form 8995. So I hope this helps. If you have questions, just let me know. All right, thank you.